Joining us now is both Melinda Tankard Reist and Amelia Haines. This is a massive topic and something that we just can't let slide. Melinda, what are we doing to our children? They seem to be growing up into adulthood way before their years.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Deb. What we're doing is seeing the constriction of the years that once constituted childhood. That childhood time, that time for freedom and exploration and imagination, free from adult sexual concepts, is becoming limited, more and more limited. So children are really losing the rights just to be children because we are forcing them to grow up too quickly.
Mm-hmm. And so, Amelia, how does that impact children then?
It has, I mean, it's wonderful that people are actually caring about these issues because it has a massive impact actually on children, and they may not even experience it as trauma specifically, and we may not even recognise it as that as adults and think, oh, you know, that's not so terrible. But we are now seeing that growing up in this kind of environment is not terribly healthy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Melinda, what should our response be then?
We need to change the wallpaper in front of which we are trying to raise children. So the messaging that children are getting at every level of society tells them that they are merely the sum of their body parts, that all that matters is their physical shape, size, looks, how hot they dress, how they act. We need to allow children to recognise that they are much more than the sum of their body parts, that they have other gifts and talents and abilities that should be prized very highly, and tragically that's not what's happening.
So children that have been sexualised, they grow up, they become parents. What sort of parent does it make them?
I suppose in some ways we don't quite know yet because they haven't necessarily become parents, but
a burden they can carry forever. It breaks a girl's self. It seems that our children are getting older, younger. Australian children watch an average of 2.5 hours of television per day. That equates to about 30 commercials per hour, 525 commercials per week and 23,000
They need to know all about pole dancing and sexual performance and sexual allure and presenting themselves sexually. So,
in addition to this,
are just so horrendous and so shameful. And what I argue is that this imagery, this bombardment of sexualised images of women helps to create a culture in which rape and sexual assault become more common.
What about women just have to get used to seeing models on billboards? Exposure on the internet, newspapers and magazines, billboards, movies and music.
It's not actually even about nudity, it's not about female beauty. What it's about is that the women are always posed in decorative ways. They're not doing anything remotely useful. They're just presented as adornment, and they're also usually white, Anglo-Saxon and middle class, so you don't really see a diversity. You'll see the occasional token black model or Asian model, and it's the fact that they're often not real anyway. They've been airbrushed out of existence. They've been digitally enhanced.
Does this concern you?
These things that you're bringing up here are very common things that you do hear when you do talk to people. And I think it's because we actually hear them said, we hear these phrases said so much that everyone everyone starts to believe it. You know, it's kind of the repetition of these phrases even make people not actually think about it.
Correct.
But if people actually do stop and pause and think about it, because you'll get women saying this, it's not just even men saying this, you'll get women buying into this too. It's just a bit of fun, or, you know, it doesn't matter. Like I see, you know, whoever it is up on the billboard, it doesn't matter. But, you know, it really does matter.
Today, we look children. Joining us today are two experts. The first is author, speaker.
70% of boys in this country have seen pornography by the age of 12 and 100% by the age of 15. We don't want to talk about it, it's so awful, but the churches have to have this conversation if we are going to...
Sexualisation of young girls today, and even us over our lifetimes, one of my concerns is...
This is an issue we must address.
Little girls are getting messages that to be considered acceptable, they need to behave in hypersexualised ways. They need to actually imitate the behaviour of prostitutes, to act in prostitute-like ways.
Important in the whole thing. I mean, I have two boys as well as a little girl, and with them, I just feel, I just pepper my conversation with them, because I think it's really important that they grow up analysing what society is presenting to them. And fathers are very important as well. How they treat spouses, their partners, and their little children is very important. So if boys see their father treating their mother with respect, if boys see, like if girls see their father treating their mother in that way too, they will feel intrinsically better about themselves. So it's a huge thing that we're talking about. You know, not very much time. Yeah, that's right. But we do need to make a start, and on so many different levels.
Yeah. Thank you both for joining us today. It's been wonderful.
Thanks for having us.